Finally to Mexico, the Colima volcano has been active for the last 2 months.
Krissy Vann with you. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. The final weekend of summer, so no surprise, we're looking at a frosty Monday morning for some. We'll talk about your fall forecast and then rescued from raging fires. So we are going to have some special reports through the hour. Looking across the country, it's been relatively quiet this weekend. We do have a low pressure system that's brought wet weather through BC into Alberta and then showers as well, moving out of the Maritimes and becoming a Newfoundland story. So overnight, as we see this low progress eastward, we'll see those showers move into central Alberta as well as central Saskatchewan. But luckily, those winds will be diminishing. It has just been howling in the Strait of Georgia as well through southwestern Alberta. Overnight lows. This is a sign that fall arrives this week. 7 for you in Montreal, Winnipeg, pleasant at 15, Calgary 6, and Vancouver sitting at that 10-degree mark. As we look at the feels like temperatures, well, chilly. That is really the word across the country. So we'll more than likely see these wind warnings drop off. However, from High River down to Cardston, we were looking at gusts exceeding 100 kilometers per hour. Our story for the overnight is going to be these frost advisories. So Grand Prairie, Whitecourt, you'll want to bring in those sensitive plants. Speaking of frost, we travel to the east where we're seeing those advisories in through northwestern New Brunswick. So really a sign of the cool conditions. Monday morning, we start things off at 16 in St. John's. That's pretty pleasant. 11 for you in Toronto, Calgary at 5, Vancouver sitting at 10 degrees. And as for the systems impacting you, again, we are looking at that rain moving in through eastern Newfoundland and otherwise just those showers through central portions of our prairie provinces. All right, when it comes to weather, not only can storms sometimes impact your travels, it can also have an impact on your health.
Thanks, Rachel. Krissy Vann with you. And when it comes to today's submission, we travel to Ontario in Kincardine, where this weekend in Ontario, it was kind of the tale of two seasons. We had still the heat and humidity on the beach, now fresher air and lots of sunshine. So what can you expect as we take a look into your Monday afternoon? Well, we do have pleasant conditions. Fresh air, 19 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. And of course, you can tweet me your photos and videos of this final weekend of summer. Tweet me at Krissy Vann. All right, let's catch up with our web writer Katie Jones now with some of the stories that you can catch at theweathernetwork.com. Thanks, Katie. So let's look at your Monday morning commute. In the Maritime, sunshine. So we've said farewell to those showers, although a bit cool. Moncton, just 9 degrees. Meanwhile, in the mid-teens for you, Newfoundland, but the eastern Avalon, we are looking at some of those showers lingering as we make our way through the day. Traveling into Quebec and Ontario, we have dry conditions, cooler overnight lows, and a bit of patchy fog in the Nickel Belt as well through southwestern Ontario. Moving along into the prairies, we still have that warmth in Manitoba, Winnipeg, a summer-like day ahead for you, 17 degrees and sunshine, although Regina, Saskatoon on that cool end, and a big drop in temperature through Alberta, 6 degrees in Calgary, Edmonton waking up to 5. South coast of BC, you've dried out by your Monday, 15 degrees for you in Vancouver, Kelowna sitting at 17. Coming up, we'll take a look ahead in the long-range forecast. It's not quite yet, as that was not enough to kickstart the season. Krissy Vann along with you. I hope you're enjoying this final weekend of summer. It's been pretty pleasant in most areas. However, we've had the wet weather along the BC coast as well and the eastern coast. So as we travel to Newfoundland, this is really where our rain story for Atlantic Canada is going to live overnight, particularly in the Avalon Peninsula. That's where we're going to be seeing some of those heavier totals, about 15 to 30 millimeters, and the Maritimes clearing out. You actually have a beautiful Monday on tap. As we travel into the west, the rain really starting to diminish in BC. Of course, the winds have been a big story. We've had some isolated power outages, about 1,000 customers in the lower mainland were left without power, but those are going to be easing, and the rain making its way into central Alberta. We're looking at 5 to 10 millimeters. Some good news for the wind story in Alberta as well. We had Environment Canada issue wind warnings and through southwestern portions of the province, those diminishing overnight. However, we are keeping our eye out for frost overnight. Areas like Grand Prairie as well as Whitecourt. Frost advisories also in place as we travel back to the east, northwestern New Brunswick, areas like Edmundston. You want to bring any of those sensitive plant varieties indoors. Here's why. This is a sign that falls around the corner Monday morning, just 9 in Montreal, 11 in Toronto. Winnipeg, you actually have a summer-like day ahead and starting off at 17 degrees. Meanwhile, look at Calgary. You had such a pleasant weekend. Temperatures really taking a dive. As we look into the afternoon hours, Vancouver at 15. You're getting a bit of a break from the rain, which is good news. Winnipeg, hot, 26, feeling like 29. And through the east, we are looking at that fresher air. Of course, as we look to California, the drought exceptional in northern portions of the state. With more on wildfire rescues, we have a special report. And advisories through many coastal areas. Krissy Vann along with you, and looking at our overnight temperatures across the country, you'll notice quite cooler in Alberta. In fact, we have some frost advisories there, and fresher air has also made its way through the east. Heading into Monday morning, just a 9-degree start in Montreal with sunshine, warmer in Winnipeg at 17, but Calgary 6 degrees, and the sun returns to the south coast of BC. Vancouver, you will sit at 10 degrees. It's a brief break from the rain, though. We have this upper level low that's sinking south, and you'll see it generate some surface lows impacting the central and north coast. And then late week, we are going to see a low that will bring more rainfall to the south coast. Overall, our rain story for the overnight hours is really diminishing. We've had some stronger winds as well through the Strait of Georgia, but most of this rainfall on this map here has already fallen, which is good news. So you're in the process of drying out. Otherwise, as we look ahead to the afternoon, Vancouver sun and 15, and then cool in Calgary and Edmonton, just getting into the low teens, unfortunately. Strong gusty winds have been the story in southwestern Alberta, and as we look further to the north overnight, it's frost advisories. It's that time of year where we're really starting to see those cooler temperatures in the overnight hours. Looking ahead into the eastern prairies, we do have just some scattered showers in through central Saskatchewan and central and northern Manitoba. The south overall going to be dry, quite comfortable in Regina at 15 degrees, and another summer-like day for you in Winnipeg at 26 with full sunshine. Fresher air has moved into Ontario. We've said farewell to the humidity this weekend, right around seasonal, 20 in the city of Toronto, Quebec comfortable as well. But as we travel into the maritime provinces in northwestern New Brunswick, we are looking at frost advisories in place. Otherwise, Monday afternoon setting up to be quite pleasant. Lots of sunshine in Halifax, Charlottetown, although St. John's 15 degrees, and you are still being impacted by a low pressure system. So in the Avalon Peninsula, we are looking at a general 15 to 30 millimeters of rain, and that will push out as we make our way through the day. Coming up, Leanna McLean joins the show, and she'll explain a solar system mapped onto scale in the desert. Thanks, Kim. Krissy Vann with you, and if you can believe it, we are wrapping up the final weekend of summer. Fall arriving Wednesday. Autumnal equinox at 4:21 a.m. Eastern Time. So what can you expect weather-wise Wednesday? Pretty quiet across the country. Just showers in northwestern Ontario as well as the BC coast. As for temperatures, fresh and warm in the east and into the mid-teens as we stretch across the prairies and through to the west. All right, let's bring in our web writer, Leanna McLean. Leanna, the solar system and the desert. What's the connection here?
So basically, two filmmakers drove about 960 kilometers into a Nevada desert located 160 million kilometers away from the sun. So it's a strange concept, and it's all mapped out here. You can watch the video online.
So an impressive feat. We traveled to Indonesia as well.
So it's really neat. You can see a series of photos on our website here for this one.
Perfect, Leanna. And I know you are also working on a great story involving an asthmatic otter. We'll have more on that coming up. As well, Rachel Schutzen will join the show and have details about how storms can impact our health. Lima volcano has been active for the last 2 months. On Friday, it sent a cloud of ash up to 2 kilometers in the air. Well, I hope you've been enjoying this final weekend of summer. In our developing stories, we're going to be talking about a frosty Monday morning for some. Our fall forecast, if you've missed it, well, we are sharing that with you at 10 p.m. Eastern, along with the winter preview, and then an update rescued from raging fires, a story out of California. Let's take a look at our Toronto almanac, and you can see 20 degrees. This is where we should be this time of year. So that heat and humidity of last week, really not our norm. We have much fresher air in place. Sunday, Toronto just reached 18 degrees. Barrie, you sat at the 20-degree mark. Beautiful conditions overnight when it comes to clear skies. However, you may not be as thrilled to start to see these single digits make a return. Guelph just 7 overnight. Hamilton at 9. This is the time as we get closer to fall, which moves in on Wednesday, we have to get into the layering, particularly Monday morning. When you're sending the little ones out to catch the bus, it's still going to be rather chilly. Just 9 for you in Guelph, 10 in Newmarket, 11 in Whitby, Niagara Falls at 10 degrees. But the sun will be shining and a beautiful afternoon is ahead. City of Toronto at 20 degrees, Newmarket 19, in Belleville 20. Fall, I mentioned, it's arriving on Wednesday. The autumnal equinox taking place at 4:21 in the morning. We'll have roughly equal hours of day and night and really wonderful conditions. In fact, our first day of fall is going to be our warmest day of this week. Check out this forecast. By Wednesday, 24, feeling like 28 in Toronto. And a beautiful weekend ahead. We cool down a bit Friday and Saturday and then back into the 20s by late weekend. Hamilton, nothing but sunshine. We have high pressure in place, so warm and pleasant conditions. And Barrie enjoying the nice weather as well. However, when we do see storms, were you aware that they could have an impact on your health? Rachel Schutzen has more.